Now at 3, will the murder case against the singer David go to trial? Our Eric Leonard is in court where the prosecution is making their final case. Plus, Stephanie.
It's another hot one. The heat sticking around as we head into the weekend and even as we head into the new work week. Highs in the 90s and triple digits. We'll show you the numbers coming up in your first alert with a forecast.
New numbers show the number of homeless living in L.A. has increased. I'm Alex Rozier in South L.A., where the community is reacting to that news on the NBC4 News at 3.
The NBC4 News at 3 starts with breaking news.
Right now at 3, we begin with another day of dangerous heat across Southern California. I really hope you're staying cool out there. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. So this is a live look across our area. Many places are seeing temperatures in the 90s and the triple digits. Our meteorologist Stephanie Omo is here. She's tracking those high temperatures that are expected to continue this weekend, Steph.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people have weekend plans, but you want to make sure you limit your time in the outdoors. Find maybe, of course, areas indoors where there's air conditioning because we're going to need it. The heat sticking around, and unfortunately, we're not getting much relief during the nighttime hours as well. Right now, we're checking out this live picture of Mount Wilson. We do have some high clouds across the area, but yet again, we're dealing with that heat. Let's go over the temperatures right now across the area. 100 degrees in Ontario, 101 in Riverside, 102 in San Bernardino, as well as down into Hemet. 97 Temecula, keeping those temperatures in the mid to upper 90s in other areas out toward Van Nuys, up into Santa Clarita, 103 in Lancaster right now. So we are feeling the heat, and also we have a little bit of that humidity as well, making it feel a little bit hotter. So the reason for the heat, and we've been talking about this, we've had this area of high pressure remaining quite stubborn over the Four Corners region. Those are bringing us some of that moisture here, monsoonal moisture, tropical moisture, because of a hurricane out in the eastern Pacific, which will continue to slide way further out toward the west. And as we talk more about this heat as we head into the weekend now, these numbers are for Riverside. Notice as we head into tomorrow, Saturday, 102. It gets a touch cooler, but still hot on Sunday. The high of 100 will keep those temperatures elevated even on Monday. So we do have the heat alerts that remain in place through at least Monday. And we're saying at least because we know the numbers will stay pretty elevated as we head throughout much of the work week. So we'll see if the National Weather Service extends the heat alerts. We'll keep you updated on that. For now, over to you, Annabelle.
All right, Steph, thank you so much for that. And as we track the heat, we're also tracking the fire danger. Take a look. Firefighters rushed to stop a small brush fire growing in Palmdale. Workers saw it break out at Sierra and Pear Blossom highways around 11 this morning and immediately called 911. Firefighters were able to stop it at about 2 acres. Great work out there. And a reminder, you can get the latest on fire danger heat alerts and check high temperatures in your area by downloading our NBC LA app. Just scan that QR code you see right there on your screen. Now, breaking news, Paramount Skydance has agreed to its merger with Warner Brothers until next June. This follows a federal restraining order blocking the $110 billion deal, while California and 11 other states sue over antitrust concerns. NBC4's Robert Kovacic is gathering new details about the decision and reaction from Hollywood. That's coming up at 5. New at 3, new numbers show a rise in the documented homeless population here in L.A. They were formally announced at a news conference held by the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. There's been a 3.4 increase in overall homelessness and close to an 8% increase in those living specifically in vehicles and on the street. So we know the story the numbers tell, but what about the people who live and work in the city? NBC4's Alex Rozier is live in South L.A. with reaction there. Alex.
Annabelle, people I spoke with today are not surprised to hear that homelessness has increased in the city of Los Angeles. You can see that there's this small encampment behind me in South LA near 60th and Vermont. I'll give you another look at it from our live trucks camera. People here say that this specific encampment highlights part of the problem with homelessness in LA because this alley right here was just cleaned up on Monday. After news broke that homelessness has increased in Los Angeles, I spoke with George Polk, who's lived in the city for 73 years. How would you rank the homelessness problem now compared to your 73 years in LA?
Oh, it's out of control. It's
as bad as you've ever seen it?
This is as bad as I've ever seen it.
Polk made that comment next to this encampment near 60th and Vermont. He says this is part of the problem. Today, this encampment filled half of this alley, just days after it was completely cleared out by the city. That was Monday.
That's good. Oh, man. That's immaculate.
And now you see it today, Friday.
And look at it. I just look at it and say it's disgusting.
But Polk says he doesn't blame Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass for this encampment and the worsening homelessness crisis.
They can't blame Karen Bass for a guy coming right back. The police should just patrol this and make sure that he doesn't come back.
After the numbers were released, we also drove through Hollywood and saw several homeless people near this library. That's where we found Andre, who works nearby. He says he does blame Mayor Bass for the increase in homelessness.
It's ridiculous. You can see it right across the street. It's out of control, unfortunately, not to these people to help them.
But back in South LA, we wanted to hear from someone living on the street. So we spoke with Ray Franco, the man staying here. He says he's been homeless for 8 years.
Were you here before and then you came back after they cleaned it out?
Franco said he was here before the city cleared the encampment Monday, and he returned right after.
If the city offered you some form of housing, would you take it?
He said he would move into housing if it was offered, but until then, he said, I don't have anywhere else to go, and this is where I feel secure. Franco is just one of many homeless Angelenos. And as you look live at this encampment near 60th in Vermont, we just heard from Curran Price's office, the council member. They just said that they're going to be back out here to clean this up again and offer some services to Ray Franco, who's staying in this encampment. But coming up at 4, we're going to hear some more community reaction to the increase in homelessness in the city of Los Angeles. Specifically, we talked to people in MacArthur Park, an area that's been the target of several federal drug enforcement operations. We want to see what the homeless count looks like there right now. Hear from people at MacArthur Park at 4. Reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
A lot of frustration there, Alex. Thank you so much for that. Meantime, LA City leaders are reacting to the numbers. Mayor Karen Bass spoke exclusively with our Jan Cadiz Klimac this morning. Homelessness has been one of her key issues. She declared a state of emergency on the first day she took office and even campaigned on the idea of ending street homelessness in her first term. Well, today she said these new numbers are a reflection of the rise in the cost of living and federal cuts to housing assistance.
To tell you that I'm not shocked. This was something that we were concerned about, very concerned about when we saw things change on the federal level and the state level. So what we suspect is that more people fell into homelessness because of the general economic conditions and also post-immigration raids. And Inside Safe did not have the resources to keep up with as fast as people were coming onto the street.
The mayor said her goal now is to disconnect from Plaza, the city-county agency that makes the call on where and how money is used. That would allow the city alone to decide where homeless funding goes and how it's tracked. We're also hearing from Bass's opponent in the race for LA Mayor. Nithya Raman is holding a news conference to discuss the homeless count. We're going to hear about her plans to address the crisis coming up here at 4. And then at 5 and 6, NBC4's Conan Nolan will provide a deeper context on both of their plans and how this will factor into who takes a seat for LA Mayor. Meantime, a medical examiner is back on the stand in the murder case involving the singer David. Today could be the final day for prosecutors to argue this case should go to trial. NBC4 investigative reporter Eric Leonard has the new testimony from court.
L.A. County Deputy Medical Examiner Grant Ho back on the witness stand as he provided a clinical narration about his examination of Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body. An overhead photograph of her body on an exam table was shown in court. It showed Celeste's condition after severe decomposition, and her severed limbs were positioned so she appeared in a complete figure. The accused, David Burke, could be seen looking up at images from the autopsy without a visible reaction. Under questioning from prosecutor Beth Silverman, Dr. Ho explained that he concluded Celeste was murdered, likely by 2 penetrating wounds to her chest and abdomen. One of them punctured her liver. Both of them would have been fatal. He said he was unable to say when she died or when she was dismembered due to the condition of her remains, and that it was possible a power tool was used to separate her arms and legs. On cross-examination by defense attorney Marilyn Bednarski, Dr. Ho acknowledged that it was difficult to make exact conclusions about what happened because of the decomposition. Bednarski suggested it was possible Celeste had stabbed herself to death or moved into a sharp instrument, and that it might not have been immediately clear that she was bleeding and dying. The medical examiner was one of the last witnesses to testify. Next, an LAPD detective